Good morning, everybody. Katie here from KC Equine Wellness and Osteopathy. It's an early morning, and I just thought I would share something with you that keeps me up at night, wakes me up early in the morning, and that is testing for ACTH levels this time of year. And why this is on my mind is I have so many clients that come to me this time of year where they've been offered the free test to test if their horse's levels of ACTH are out of whack. So first off, the thing is we're testing at a time of year that horses already have an increased level of ACTH, so going into the fall, and that's normal. And for every horse that's different, how much their levels will increase. But what gets me is that often we're testing these levels of ACTH to determine whether we can diagnose these horses with PPID and put them on medication. So we're testing, and I often have clients come to me and say, oh, we have slightly elevated levels, we have a little bit of issue with the coat, or just notice something a little bit irregular, but we're just gonna monitor this and, in a couple years decide if we can diagnose and treat. So that really just hurts my soul a little bit because there's lots that we can do to prevent this from happening. So, and this is what's not talked about much. So how this kind of goes in the body, and there's a lot of processes that happen. I'm not going to go into all of them because that would be a very long-winded thing that you'll probably bore you. But so what's happening is overactivity of the pituitary gland, which causes increased levels of ACTH. This is to combat stress responses in the body, inflammation, toxicity, and what's really happening is the pituitary gland is telling the adrenals to produce cortisol, which is a stress response, which we all need. That's normal. However, what happens is this becomes chronic. So the adrenals are constantly producing cortisol, and then in turn the pituitary gland gets overworked, it forgets to shut off, and we get all these crazy processes and dysregulated hormones happening in the body. And then it gets out of hand, and then we have to diagnose and treat with medication. So the thing is, there's lots that we can do to prevent this, especially if we're in the monitoring stage. This stress is coming from things like diet, lifestyle stress, lack of exercise, toxicity in the body, and this isn't what's talked about. So if you are testing your horses and you are seeing slightly elevated levels and your long-term plan is to monitor so that you can treat, the medication is not a treatment, it's a band-aid. It's not curing what's going on in the body because we're not really addressing the root cause of what's going on. So if you are getting these tests and you are having these increased levels of ACTH, hopefully you're like, yay, I can do something about this. And it's just figuring out what to do, right? That's the tricky piece. But there's lots of people that you can work with, and I'll get to that in a minute. So for me, it's like, if you go to the doctor and you're being told, okay, if you keep living life like this, if you keep doing what you're doing, you're gonna end up with this disease. And you're like, oh, okay. But they don't tell you that if you change your life, if you change your diet, if you change your lifestyle, your stress, you manage these things, you won't get this disease. Cool, right? So it's just, I think, knowing that we have the options, knowing that there's things we can do about this, and especially before it's too late. I know people that monitor for years, and then they're just like, oh, now's the time that we're just gonna drug, but we've done nothing in the years prior following up to manage these symptoms. So I just get really excited about this because there's things that we can do. And in osteopathy, as you know, we're always looking at addressing the root cause of what's really going on. So, and it's really tricky because the root cause is so different for every horse, but it's not by chance this has happened. And we're developing these diseases, not in a day, not in a month, but likely years. And there is so many things that we can do about it. So, the number one thing I'd tell you to do is reach out to a professional who knows what they're talking about. A nutritionist is great, Alicia Edwards. She is a holistic nutritionist who deals with herbs and nutrients, and she's got a program, an entire program dedicated to this called Resolving Metabolic Syndrome Naturally. And she has a huge success rate. There are so many great things going on, and I believe so deeply in diet and nutrition for horses, and that is an avenue that I'll be going down as well. As you all know, I'm into it for myself and really getting well versed in this for horses because there's so much we can do. And you know, we have to remember that the people giving these free tests are big pharma. They're the people that are going to be making money off your horses being unwell. So it's a huge piece, and there's lots that we can do. So if you have any questions, reach out. I'm happy to share resources with you and point you in the right direction. It's not my expertise yet in helping manage these cases, but I do have places that you can go. Anyhow, happy horsing, and there's some food for thought.